Look, getting back to nature is one of the main reasons why a lot of people are looking at moving into small Oklahoma towns. So over the past 3 weeks, that's what we have been doing. We've been diving into these fantastic small Oklahoma towns that are not too far from Oklahoma City. I have to admit, we have logged a lot of miles, but I've really had a fantastic time doing it. And by the time this video is over, we will have been to 11 different towns in 6 counties. Okay, we started just outside west of the metro. We checked out the Village, we checked out Piedmont, we checked out Cashin, and then Guthrie. Then we jetted over to the east side, just outside the metro. We talked about Jones, we talked about Arcadia, we talked about Choctaw, and we talked about Harrah. And here's the thing about Harrah. About 3 days after I dropped that video, CNBC came out with a list of hidden gems in America, and Harrah was #1 on the list as a hidden gem where people should be moving to. Look, when it comes to this channel, when it comes to the OKC Metro and the surrounding areas, I got a good pulse on it. You can watch 10 other people in the OKC Metro with the YouTube channel, okay? And none of them are gonna talk about Harrah, okay? None of them, okay? So again, like, subscribe, and watch any of my videos, you know? I guarantee you, you're gonna learn a few things. And in this video, we are actually gonna head down south to an area that I think is extremely popular. And it's gonna be a great fit for a lot of people, especially if they're looking for land. And when you head just south of Oklahoma City, you're gonna get into what's called the Tri-City area, which is going to be Blanchard, Newcastle, and Tuttle. Blanchard is where I'm at right now. And in my opinion, Blanchard is pretty much the end of the OKC Metro. I mean, Chickasha is technically about 20 miles south of here, and some would consider that the end of the OKC Metro. But in my opinion, Blanchard is pretty much as far as most people who like work at downtown Oklahoma City or Paycom, where a lot of them are willing to go. And when it comes to Blanchard, again, in my opinion, checks all the boxes when you're talking about a quintessential small town here in Oklahoma. I mean, it kind of has it all. It's going to have no consignment shop. It's gonna have a place where they sell local gear to support the local high school. And here's the deal, you know, I do like Blanchard. You know, again, it just gives you that small town feel. Not only that, when it comes to housing, you know, you can get a little bit of everything. If you want to live closer to town, you can. There's plenty of housing out here. You want new construction, you can find it in this area. If you're somebody that wants land, you know, that quarter acre, half acre, full acre lots, you can find them here in Blanchard. So when it comes down to it, you know, Blanchard is a great place. As far as schools are concerned, I just looked it up on niche.com. It's rated a B+. So again, you're gonna have, you know, a small community with a quaint downtown. You're gonna have good schools. And if you're someone that's after the land, you're gonna be able to get that here in Blanchard. And the drive is not that far, you know, from downtown Oklahoma City. I think you're like maybe 25 miles from downtown Oklahoma City. Not only that, you know, Moore is not too far from here, or I-240. So if you're someone that kind of needs a Target, you kind of want to get to a Best Buy, you can easily get there. It's also not far from Norman, believe it or not. You know, sometimes the topography of Oklahoma, it can be kind of confusing, but Blanchard, you know, is basically 15 miles west of Norman. So you kind of have some options. You can either head back up to Oklahoma City or Moore, or you can just go straight west and you can be in Norman. So Blanchard, location wise, you know, you're kind of isolated, you're kind of out here, but you're really kind of not. You're about 15, 20 miles from a lot of good stuff in both Moore and Norman. So if you're in a situation where maybe, you and a spouse are, one's going to take a job maybe at the University of Oklahoma, the other one's going to take a job in Oklahoma City, and you guys want a small community, Blanchard would be a good choice because, again, you're only 15 miles from Norman and you're probably, 25 to 30 minutes from downtown Oklahoma City. So if you're looking for a small community that's in between both Oklahoma City and Norman, Blanchard would be a good choice. And with a population of over 8,000 people, you're going to have grocery stores, you're going to have places to eat. So Blanchard is pretty self-sufficient. One of the things that people might have some concerns about, of course, is, fitting in, diversity, politics. Look, majority of these small towns, they're going to lean a little bit more on the conservative side. As far as diversity is concerned, everyone's going to be a little different. So I would definitely, look up the demographics. But as far as how I was treated pretty much the whole time, shooting these videos, and because that's how I judge everything. I mean, the people in every one of these communities have been extremely nice, curious, and nice. 2, 1. Also, the thing about you, 3, 2, 1. Another thing about Newcastle, is there are. Oh, good. How are you doing? Sorry, it's not every day that somebody's walking around town with a drone or a handheld camera, but I've been welcomed in with open arms in every one of these communities. And again, while I'm here, it doesn't take long to find people of various cultures in most of these towns. And the next city here in the Tri-City area that we're going to talk about is Tuttle. And in my opinion, Tuttle is a pretty simple place. Has a population of about 9,000 people, and it is about 30 miles from downtown Oklahoma City. Tuttle is the type of place where, everyone's going to go to the football games on a Friday night, which football is a big thing here in Tuttle because it is home to Heisman Trophy winner Jason White. So people here in Tuttle take their football serious. I think they've also won a couple of state championships. But again, it's the type of place that still has a weekly newspaper. Once in town, it's going to have some fast food places, some restaurants. It has the quintessential downtown. Look, Tuttle is a pretty cool place to live. When it comes to housing, you're going to have your choice of living in town, just like so many of these other small towns. You're also going to have an option of living, maybe in a neighborhood that's going to offer quarter acre, half acre, full acre lots. Tuttle does have some normal neighborhoods like you would find in any other metro suburb. So again, Tuttle kind of has a good small town feel, but it also has the presence of a major metro suburb. And one of the reasons that is, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't know this until a couple of days ago. I pride myself of knowing the OKC metro pretty well. But if you're going to live on the north side of Tuttle, it pretty much connects right up to Mustang. And you've been watching my channel. Look, Mustang is a super popular suburb here in the OKC metro, and Tuttle touches it. So the north side of Tuttle touches the south side of Mustang. In fact, I have a client that has a house under contract here in Tuttle, and it is literally 5 miles from Mustang High School. And Mustang High School is pretty much in the heart of Mustang. So if you're someone that's living in Tuttle, there's a grocery store here, but you're also going to have access to Mustang, and Mustang's going to have, a Walmart. It's going to have multiple Starbucks, and, it's going to have everything that you will want in any major suburb. It's also not too far from I-40. So you're talking about the outlet mall. You're talking about, other shopping places, Targets, things of that nature. So even though Tuttle kind of has a feel of, being a small town and kind of, again, being in this Tri-City area and being out here, you have access to, again, a major metro suburb in Mustang. And once you get to Mustang, you have access to so much. Another reason why Tuttle is so popular, it's the schools. According to niche.com, Tuttle is rated an A-, what puts it on par with any of the other big metropolitan suburbs. I'm telling you, you know, Tuttle, it has a lot going on. And how could I forget? Tuttle is also home to the Brahms Farm. Okay, and when it comes to Brahms, Brahms is a big deal here in Oklahoma. They sell ice cream and they sell milk. And most people around here swear by both of them. Okay, people love Brahms ice cream and they love Brahms milk. All right, and if you're visiting Oklahoma, you know, just kind of check it out before you move here. Go to Brahms. Fast food's okay. Ice cream, delicious. And it's not just Brahms, but Tuttle has a strong feeling of agriculture here. You know, there's grain elevators, and pretty much when you get on the west side of town, there are plenty of ranches where there's cattle. It's also a very popular spot for wind energy. When it comes to Tuttle, it's just not focused on, you know, Oklahoma's past, which is agriculture, and it's still a huge part of the economic force here in Oklahoma, but it's also focused on the future, and wind energy is a big thing here in Tuttle. And the last city here in the Tri-City area is going to be Newcastle. And look, Newcastle is a completely different monster compared to Tuttle and Blanchard. Newcastle only has 14,000 people in it, which is why it's on my list. Look, it's basically a stone throw away from Southwest Oklahoma City and the southwest side of more public schools. I mean, it's like 5 miles away. So in my opinion, Newcastle, it doesn't have like that small town charm as like Blanchard and Tuttle does. It's basically just an extension of the metro. Newcastle is for people that are just like, man, I don't want to live in Oklahoma City. I kind of want to live in a smaller community. So they decided to move to Newcastle. And that's what you got. Newcastle public schools, they're not as highly rated as Blanchard or Tuttle. I think they're a B- according to niche.com. But again, you know, Newcastle is a very popular spot. Another reason why it's super popular is because it has a massive casino here. The Newcastle Gaming Center, very popular here in the OKC Metro. You know, so it's an employer out here. And of course, when it comes to housing, you know, here in Newcastle, you're gonna be able to live here in town. But again, just like all the communities that we've talked about throughout this video, again, if you want like new construction, it's here. If you want new construction in a normal neighborhood, you can. Newcastle is going to be pretty close to just being an OKC suburb, so there's plenty of new construction in normal neighborhoods. And there's also going to be a lot of homes that are going to offer, again, quarter acre, half acre, full acre lots. Another thing about Newcastle that I was surprised about is there are a ton of luxury homes here. Like a lot. So Newcastle is a place where a lot of people have basically said, I don't want to live in Edmond. I don't want to live in Moore, Norman, or Mustang. I want to build my, you know, luxury home here, and I'm going to live in Newcastle. I mean, there is a ton of new construction, very luxurious homes here in Newcastle. I'm super surprised about it. And in all honesty, every one of these communities here in the Tri-City area does have some luxury homes. I mean, there are a lot of people that have flooded out this way because they could build what they wanted for the price they wanted to pay. You know, when you're building a home out here, it's probably going to be 10 to 15, maybe even 20% cheaper than it would be if you built it in Edmond or Yukon or Mustang. So again, there are a lot of people out here that they're flooding this way to do that. They want their kids in smaller school districts, and they want to be able to build their dream home. And places like Newcastle, Tuttle, Blanchard are allowing people to do that. And Newcastle is going to have plenty of restaurants. Newcastle is also going to have plenty of shopping. There's going to be a Walmart in town. And when you go just east and jump on I-44, I mean, like I said earlier in this video, you are just minutes away from the Moore area or I-240. So, you know, you're going to be near Early Wine Golf Course. If you're a golfer, you're going to be close to that YMCA. You're going to be close to more shopping. I mean, Newcastle really is just an extension of the OKC Metro. So not only is Newcastle a small town, I mean, Newcastle's getting to the point where it can pretty much claim to be a suburb of Oklahoma City. Again, Newcastle, not a bad spot. So it doesn't matter if it's going to be rural Oklahoma, and if you want to move to a place like Newcastle, Tuttle, Blanchard, or if it's going to be a place like Edmond, Mustang, Yukon, Piedmont, it doesn't matter, okay? If you are thinking about moving to the OKC metro area, give me a call, shoot me a text. If not, I'll see you on the next video.